Ladies, gentlemen, and wrestling fans alike, welcome to episode 14 of the Squash Match Wrestling Podcast. I know we've been a little bit, how do I put it? Not up to date with the regular posting. That's my fault. That's on me. But this time we're all caught up. If you haven't seen last episode, we did our Night of Champions predictions. So we're going to talk some of that stuff here today. So I recommend going back and checking that out if you want a little bit of context for how our predictions went. I'm sure we'll go over a little bit here. But we had one prediction in particular that came to life out of nowhere. And we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do, Jetley, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Definitely a wild weekend of wrestling, to say the least, but I know we got a bit to cover, so let's get into it.
All right, so the first thing I want to cover is that prediction I just mentioned a little bit ago. We were talking last week, I didn't know this at the time, but Chad Gable is going into shoulder surgery. And for those people that still believe that Chad Gable was El Grande Americano, do I have news for you? El Grande appeared on Monday Night Raw last night, and he looked a little bit too much like a certain someone that we called out last week. You predicted that Ludwig Kaiser would come out as El Grande Americano, and it looked like that is going to be the case. I'll give you a little pat on the back for that one.
Hey, I didn't necessarily say it was him. We don't know who El Grande Americano
That is true.
is. I pointed out that he was in the background.
He was in the background, and it appeared he might have been in the foreground here, but he does still have that mask on. And I mean, maybe El Grande Americano just grew 3 to 4 inches overnight, or throughout the week. He looked a little bit taller, especially when he was standing next to Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, the traditional El Grande height compared to now maybe Ludwig Kaiser. So that was really funny. I saw that. I was like, holy shit. At first, I didn't know. I didn't make the connection to Ludwig Kaiser, even though he appeared earlier in the night in the background again. But yeah, no, this was really funny. I look forward to seeing this moving forward with El Grande Americano.
Hey, I'm just saying, as long as El Grande is still on TV, I'm all for it. We still don't know the identity, so...
Can you imagine if this is a different person in the El Grande Americano suit? We could have like a Sin Cara versus Sin Cara situation here again with El Grande versus El Grande.
Oh, we definitely could. I mean, like I said, we don't know who this mysterious person is. How this man fell under our radars for so long is unbelievable.
It really is, because he's got that chiseled look. He looks like he's been a veteran here in the WWE, or maybe not a veteran, but somebody who's been around for a while, although El Grande has been around for centuries at this point, world famous, historical professional wrestler in El Grande Americano. I will say he definitely doesn't look like the old El Grande, so maybe an impersonator here.
Yeah, this might be a little callback. This might be an imposter, shall we say.
So I look forward to that match between El Grande and El Grande. Do you think that they would demask each other in that match? Because at first I thought it was going to be Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania to demask the original El Grande Americano, but we haven't seen Rey in a while, and quite honestly, I don't think we will for, I don't know, quite some time now. Maybe Royal Rumble he'll come back, something like that, but this might be a cool opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, as much as it sucks, I mean, El Grande is getting a lot of spotlight, unfortunately, compared to the guys that we mentioned, like Ludwig Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser, who has not been on TV in months at this point, making his potential debut as El Grande Americano here. This could be fun. Do you think he'll keep, if it is in fact Ludwig Kaiser, do you think he'll keep that luchador style? I can't imagine somebody like Ludwig Kaiser doing like the backflips and all that crazy shit.
I still don't know what you're talking about. I don't think this is Ludwig.
I guess we'll have to find out with that one. Is there anything else on El Grande Americano and his potential new identity before we move on to we'll get into Night of Champions here?
I just want to know how much he grew.
Yeah, it's like it's got to be 4 to 5 inches over the week, significantly taller than the old El Grande.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Saudi flight did something.
Could have been time zones. Maybe it aged him a couple
Yeah.
years. I don't know. Anyway, we had an awesome show on Saturday night with Night of Champions. I almost said Saturday night's main event, but we'll get into that a little bit more next week. First match of the night, we had Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes, as we predicted, we got this one right, is going on to be King of the Ring. He will face John Cena at SummerSlam in the main event. I'm assuming the main event. What do you think about this match and Cody Rhodes as King of the Ring?
That was a pretty good match. I didn't really have much expectations. Actually, it went the way I expected it to go. Let's rephrase that. It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Basically, having mentor versus mentee, even though I feel like they've both have been in wrestling for so long now at this point. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good opener. I'm not mad at Cody winning King of the Ring, although I will say the crown looks stupid.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the King and Queen of the Ring crowns. I don't like either of them, really. They're too pointy. I don't know. They got to put some, like, pizzazz on the tops. I don't know what it is, but I do agree. I think the crowns are kind of stupid looking.
Yeah, I hope they do a lot with, like, the whole King of the Ring moniker, because I feel like when Gunther was King of the Ring, like, after SummerSlam, everyone just forgot he was the King of the Ring.
Yeah, it's like being the Royal Rumble winner. It kind of just goes away after a little while.
Yeah, like, I really want to see, like, Cody come out with, like, a robe.
Yeah,
and
like
have,
like
like, a
Booker T
throne or
back in the
something.
day. Booker T with his
Yeah.
his scepter and his cape and his crown. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Keep it feeling important. Not like the Crown Jewel Championship, which gets less publicity than King of the Ring somehow. Thankfully, though, I'm not a big fan of those belts. I think they look stupid as hell. But I thought that this match was really good up until the main event for me. Honestly, this was match of the night. I thought this was everything it needed to be. There was some rumblings within the match itself. Randy Orton said he wouldn't hesitate to give the killing blow on Cody Rhodes, but we did see that. There was no punt kick once again delivered from Randy Orton. This match reminded me eerily of Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens the first time around. A lot of people online, we mentioned it a little bit last week, or I guess yesterday at the time of recording this when the podcast actually dropped. My bad again. But we mentioned it last week how some people were like, oh, why, how could you waste a WrestleMania match like Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at a show like this? This is supposed to be a big feud. Like, you got to build it up more than that. But like I said, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, kind of the same thing, ended up being one of the feuds of the year, one of my favorite feuds in a long time. This is just the start of something like this. And during this match, there was a little bit of heelish play from both sides involved. So I was seeing a lot online, like a new Randy Orton heel turn, or not another Randy Orton heel turn, or maybe the Cody Rhodes heel turn. Out of these two, who do you think is more likely to turn heel?
My heart says Cody. Realistically, it's gonna be Randy.
Because during this match, it seemed like Cody was the heel going into it. The Saudi crowd loved Randy Orton. The pop for Randy Orton was unbelievable. It was crazy. Which is weird because I want to say the Saudi crowd was really good. And at times they were, but for other matches they just weren't. And I'll get into my complaint for that in a little while. But yeah, I think Randy Orton is more likely to turn heel here once again. I think we're close to the Cody Rhodes heel turn, but I don't think we're there just yet.
Heel Cody, and I think I told you this on Instagram. Heel Cody would absolutely feed families.
Yeah, definitely, especially in a feud against a babyface Randy Orton.
Yeah, because honestly, at this rate, I feel like we're in, at least in my opinion, if this is towards the end of his career, at least give him like a decent face run. Um, I wouldn't mind him being a heel, but it's like I don't really see him being a heel for really anyone besides Cody, realistically.
Yeah, I feel like if you go into this feud, either way, people are going to be cheering for Randy and booing Cody. But I just don't see them turning Cody heel just yet. You know, I think it'll come maybe after his next title run.
I just hope it's soon.
Yeah, yeah. This feud, though, like you said, will definitely feed families, and this is definitely not the last we've seen of this, especially after what we saw there. I really liked Cody's promo after the match too, leading into that quarterback of the WWE aspect. Like at SummerSlam, I get the ball back. That was a hard line.
Yeah. A little off topic, but it kind of does involve these two. Did you see the SmackDown feed that got cut off by a camel?
It was a camel.
A camel bit. Apparently, a camel was biting into the wiring, and it completely destroyed like
Is that what happened?
like the live streams. Yeah.
I don't mean to. Here I go getting political or slightly offensive again. This is 3 episodes in a row. That's like the most. Oh, do I even want to say it? I'm going to get us canceled. Our 3 viewers are going to be so disappointed when there's no episode 15. That's the most like Saudi Arabia, Middle Eastern show shit I've ever heard in my whole life. A camel bit the wiring and the show went off the air. That's funny. But yeah, I didn't know what happened. I did notice that though, because obviously the broadcast that we had here in the U.S. didn't. I mean, it cut off, but it was like it looked like it was recorded on an iPhone or something. So
Indeed
at least we got
was.
yeah, at least we got to see what happened there.
Yeah. I wonder what they did with that camel.
You know what? I don't want to know what they did with that camel. That poor camel. Anyway, though, is there anything more on Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, King of the Ring, before we move on here?
I'm good.
All right. So next up, we had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. Last week, we were saying how not excited we were for this match, and we actually both had Raquel Rodriguez winning. How wrong we were about everything, in my opinion, anyway. I really liked this match. Raquel Rodriguez looked like $1 million in this one. I'm so pissed off that Rhea Ripley won this match. I don't see any reason why she should have. What does she gain out of this? Like, I get it. The next night on Raw, or 2 nights later on Raw, she goes to Io Sky and is like, oh, we're going for a title match. But I think she could have done that anyway. You know? Raquel looks so good. She had the help of Roxanne Perez. They flew Roxanne Perez all the way over. That's like an 18-hour flight just to help Raquel lose. And then she gets to be tag team champion the next night. To me, nothing about this match, well, everything about it made sense except for the finish to me. I was really impressed, though. I really liked this match.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought this was a really good match. Unfortunately, I still think the winner was not the right decision. I still think Raquel should have won this match.
Yeah, and I think we're in agreement with most of the internet here. People are starting to call Rhea Ripley like Rhea Hogan, you know, because she like lost, like she was down, she was out, she was outnumbered, and then what happened? She just like got that Hulk Hogan like the, you know, like the she just stands up and. Oh no, here comes Rhea Ripley wins. Like, in my eyes, Raquel Rodriguez, performance-wise, won that match. I think she looked better than Rhea did. And that's saying something, because Rhea Ripley looked really good, too. But super impressed with Raquel. I wish she won.
Yeah, I think I said this last week, too. Even if Rhea did win, I wasn't going to mind, because I feel like they were probably going to set up something for her, but I feel like well, so many R's. If Raquel had won this, I feel like it would have actually like made her legitimate. Not that she isn't actually. Ever since she's joined Judgment Day, she hasn't really caught anyone's interest recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Raquel had more to gain if she won this.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because like that's kind of what I wanted to see. Like this whole match, how Raquel was is how what I wanted to see from her since when she came back and like joined the Judgment Day. Like she was supposed to be like Big Daddy Cool. Like she was supposed to be the bodyguard for Liv Morgan. She was supposed to be like the Diesel to Rhea Ripley's Shawn Michaels or something. Like I don't see why she wasn't like that before, or she wasn't being booked like that before. Like I think it would have been fine if she lost this match if she was having matches like this for like the past year, you know. But like here, this was like very clearly a breakout performance, and it sucks that in my eyes it kind of went to waste.
Yeah.
If only she can make the tag titles feel relevant now. That might save it, but I don't see that happening. We also have that.
I really hope so.
Yeah, we also have that. The tournament coming up, or is it a tournament or like a triple threat match? Fatal 4-way match. They said there was going to be a team from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT competing at Evolution for these tag titles. Of course, we don't know who those are yet. Do you want to see them drop the titles in this match? Because Judgment Day did just retain all of their gold. They're all champions, all 5 members of the Judgment Day right now.
I really want, Jesus, with the R's, Roxanne and Raquel now. I really want these two to retain. And I said this probably back at WrestleMania even, where it's like, I couldn't take Judgment Day seriously, but unless if they had, like, all the gold. Now that Judgment Day does have, like, all, like, the mid-card gold, it's legit for me now.
Yeah, and I'm having a problem with that because I agree they look good with all the gold. I think this makes them a little bit more relevant. But at the same time, I feel like they also have like the least relevant gold in the WWE right now. The Raw tag team titles, the women's tag team titles, even to an extent the IC title. Dominic Mysterio hasn't really done anything to make me be like, wow, what a champion with that belt yet, you know? Especially now, he's like running away from AJ Styles. Like, I get it, that's his character. But at the same time, we haven't seen a good story yet with the IC title from Dominic Mysterio. And maybe that goes back to Liv Morgan getting injured. But even before that, it was like Penta twice, Penta 3 times maybe. And I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah, that is going to be a concern on whether or not these titles get elevated now, because if you have a faction this size and they can't elevate your titles, there's a big issue right there.
Yeah, and I think part of it just goes down to the women's tag division in general and the men's tag division in general on Monday Night Raw. I think now that Judgment Day has them, first of all, I want to say this match was really good. I really liked the Judgment Day match where they won. And the crowd loved Judgment Day. Like, I get it, like, they're heels, they're the bad guys, but the New Day is so hateable. like they were despised throughout this building, which is crazy. But I'm happy that Judgment Day has these titles now. I think I said it last week that I wanted them to win. Do you think that this could be finally the chance to reset this whole tag division?
It has to. Yeah, I will say it has to reset this tag team division, because when we first saw this title reign with Judgment Day, no one really loved it. They didn't defend the tag team titles for almost 2 months at that point. I really hope we get some sort of like tag team reset. Or like even hopefully in like the few weeks coming, I feel like I keep mentioning this every week, we need some sort of like roster change, a draft, scramble, whatever you want to call it. We need to shake things up.
Yeah, put at least one of those teams from SmackDown over here on Raw. Even if it's like, I feel like you need one of the like bigger teams, like maybe a Motor City Machine Guns. They might be a good fit over here on Raw. Maybe take 2 of them. Maybe bring Rey Fenix over and we get the Lucha Bros back. Because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but Penta's involvement in the main event of this PLE to me felt so off. Like, it was so weird. It was so random. That should have been LA Knight, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I think the Lucha Bros could do something good for the Raw Tag Division. The pops that Judgment Day got on this episode of Raw when they won, I think just warrants, like, people want to see them here. They have to have a good title run, though. Like, they can't defend once every 2 months and then lose it in the third title defense. Like, I want to see them bi-weekly. Just copy and paste what you do on SmackDown. You got the pop already. The pop was there from the crowd for Judgment Day. And maybe that was more so we want to see New Day lose. But at the same time, it was there, nonetheless. So, run with it, you know?
Yeah. I really hope this tag team division gets sorted. And funny enough, I don't know if you want to get into this since I'm going to bring this up now. There is one tag team, like an actual set tag team, that I'm surprised isn't really technically considered in this tag team division.
That is.
Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're right. They could dominate this division. I think the reason they're not in it is because it would be like when Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga were the tag team champions over on SmackDown. Like, they would just come in and clean house. Especially at a state like this where, like, Judgment Day, sure, they're probably the best tag team on Raw right now. In the tag division, that is. But yeah, they would get destroyed. Like, it wouldn't be believable for them to even, like, have a bullshit win over Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, because, like, sure, they have their faction shenanigans, but so do Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, like, to like an even higher extent, you know. So yeah, I don't want to see them go after this tag gold just yet, because if they wanted to, they would just own it, and they wouldn't get beat by anybody for months and months and months. Like, it's almost like protecting. It's not protecting Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker from a loss to one of these lesser tag teams. It's like protecting the division from them from just taking it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything more on Raquel Rodriguez tag division? Our new tag team champions in the Judgment Day before we move on here?
I'm good.
All right. So next up, we had, I believe this was next. If it wasn't next match card wise, it was next on my list that I have here. The match that I was most excited for on this PLE, I'm talking about Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. I have an opinion on this match that you might not expect from me, and you probably saw it in my notes because I just screenshotted it and sent it over to you. But how did you feel about Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn?
I will say, I called it. I did say Sammy was going to win, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a really good match for what it was. They actually did make Karrion, like, actually look good, which I was really concerned about, and I think that's what a lot of people were concerned about, is how well is Karrion going to look after not being in the ring since the Raw before Mania. And I think he really capitalized on it.
Personally, I was a little bit let down with this match. Not only because Karrion lost, I am the biggest Karrion Kross glazer out there, but I don't know, it didn't feel like it was. I think the match was fine. That's it. Karrion Kross looked good. He had some good moments against Sami Zayn. Sami had some good moments against him, but, like, nothing really stood out as, like, the breakout performance that Karrion Kross needed, you know? Like, it was good to see him on TV, and maybe it was just because it was a Saudi crowd that was rooting for Sami Zayn heavily that nobody was popping for Karrion Kross. I felt like this match would have done better on just, like, an episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think I talked to someone about this, where it's like, I feel like a match in Saudi could, like, literally have, like, different results if it was in the United States. I feel like a lot of it can sway just based on location.
Yeah, because like you hear the pops he gets even from just backstage segments on like episodes of Raw, but like here and even on the pre-show, like people were cheering for him, but not to the extent they were. And I'm not saying Karrion Kross is Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes, but like if this match was in like Europe, this would have gotten the same reaction as like a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Like every match in like Europe does. Over here in the States, I like to think people like their Karrion Kross. We haven't seen him in God knows how long, but overall, yeah, like I thought it was fine, but I wasn't super impressed. People online were making fun of Karrion Kross for finally taking back bumps. If you've seen that, I don't think we should pat him on the back for that though. Like that's just part of your job. That's like cheering Tom Brady for giving handoffs. It's like that's just easy. Like that's not that it's easy to take a back bump, but it's like that's like the basic thing. Everybody has to do that. I don't think we should applaud somebody for finally taking back bumps on TV. The reason he doesn't take back bumps on TV is because he's not on TV wrestling, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we're going to see more of Karrion Kross, though.
Yeah, especially what we saw on Raw.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Which also brings me to another point. Why did Sami Zayn, like, wrestle later in the night? I feel like that almost, like, completely negated almost everything Karrion Kross did. Like, Sami looked fine during that match. He didn't look like he was hit in the ribs with a metal pipe, you know?
What do you mean? He's Sammy Hogan. He's
Sammy Hogan. Yeah, exactly. That like that's what I mean. Like, it makes Karrion Kross's impact feel a little bit less impactful. That Sami Zayn could just, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go out here and have a match. Like I get it. He lost anyway, but at no point in the match, to me anyway, did it look like, oh, my ribs are broken. I can't take it. You know, like it looked like Braun Breaker broke him in half more than Karrion Kross did. Which, sure enough, nothing against Braun Breaker. I'm sure he did break him in half more than Karrion Kross did, but he hit him with a metal pipe, you know?
Yeah, and that's the one thing I'm, like, really concerned about with Karrion Kross moving forward is, like, if you have, like, that type of run-in where it's, like, Karrion pretty much takes out, like, his, I guess, enemy at this rate, wouldn't it realistically make sense if he just wasn't on the rest of the show?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, why? Like, I didn't even know this match was the main event until, like, it happened. Like, I figured Sami Zayn got hit by Karrion Kross and he was taken out and they were going to have to replace him or something. I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't like the decision. And maybe it's because it was, like, a last-minute thing, like, oh, you know what? Karrion Kross, you did fine enough. Go hit Sammy with a pipe, and then he's going to be in the main event anyway. But I don't know. Yeah. It seems a little weird. And I could sit here and complain about Karrion Kross booking all day long. But we got like 5 other matches to get to. That's a lie. We have 2. But anyway, is there anything more on Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn before we move on? The Karrion Kross rant was a little bit short today. I apologize to my fellow Karrion Kross fans if there's any out there.
Do we have 2 more matches? I think it's 3.
3. I have Jade Cargill versus Asuka. John Cena versus... I have John Cena versus Randy Orton written down here, but it's John Cena versus CM Punk. Was there another one? Am I stupid? Am I forgetting some?
Oh, no!
Oh, my God. I didn't write that down. Holy shit. You're right. That did happen. Solo Sikoa is our new United States champion. I think you called it last week. You said you wanted to see him retain.
I called it like...
You called it weeks ago.
Word for word.
Yeah, you did. Quite literally, you were like, we're going to get Hikuleo, we're going to get Tongaloa back, we're going to have Solo as the U.S. champion, and that is, in fact, what happened. I didn't see that coming. I wanted to see, like, a drawn-out feud here, but you know what? I'm happy for Solo Sikoa. I think he deserves this more than anybody else, besides Jacob Fatu. I think Jacob Fatu and Solo are about even on my list for that right now. How'd you feel about this match, overall?
I thought it was really good between these two. It kind of went the way I expected it to go. You had 2 beefy Samoans going at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I think it was a really good match. I just, again, we keep mentioning this every time it's a bloodline match. Never clean.
No. We can never ever. I think I texted you that. Never a clean bloodline match. And it was crazy. We did finally get the debut of Hikuleo, or what is he going by now? Tala Tonga or something?
Alatonga.
Tamatala, some shit like that. So that's interesting. Solo Sikoa just like stole the Samoans from New Japan, which is
They're
fine.
not even Samoan.
They're not?
They're Tongan. They're
Okay.
Tongans. There's not. I mentioned this like when I think Jeff Cobb made his
Yeah.
debut. Everyone besides Jacob that Solo's brought in is not Samoan.
They're
in,
not
like,
related.
The least.
They're not even related. We can't even call this the bloodline anymore. Like, what do we call it? I don't even know.
Blind line. I don't know.
We could go with
Like-
that. Now you're the New Japan guy over here. What should we expect from Hikuleo? And now that we have infamous Tongaloa back, I know what to expect from Tongaloa at this point. You know, titles held upside down. I don't know, eye patches, some shit like that. But I haven't seen much from Hikuleo, and all I've seen from JC Mateo so far is what I've seen here in WWE. So I'll let you have the floor with this. Go on a nice little Hikuleo or Talatonga rant here.
So with Hikuleo, if I had to like give like a WWE comparison, I feel like the way he wrestled in Japan, honestly, I don't know if this is like good or bad depending on who you ask. He kind of reminds me of a lot of like Luke Gallows.
Okay. He was a lot bigger than I thought he was. I don't know why. Like in pictures that I saw of him previously, he looks like he looks like he's like 6'7", like 7 feet tall, like close to that.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if this was like WWE camera work. He looks a lot slimmer than what he did when he was in Japan.
He could have lost some weight. I just meant tall wise, like.
Oh, I knew
he was
a tall
he was
bastard.
huge. I didn't know that. I did not know that at all. So that was cool. He looks scary. This faction looks really scary when they're standing together, and I think Tongaloa needs his eye patch back though. I miss the Tongaloa eye patch.
I think we all do.
Yeah. The real question now is when is Tamatonga gonna come back?
I mean, I think the setup's there for Jacob's rematch.
Yeah. It's gonna be another. Oh, who's this hooded figure? Oh my God, it's Tamatonga. Is he like injured? Where has he been?
Yeah, he's injured.
Was that since like? That's been since like Survivor Series, hasn't? Or was it after that? I don't even remember.
No, I think it was
He was in War Games.
because Tongaloa got injured at War Games.
Yeah.
I think it was sometime before Mania. Actually, we needed Jamie. I'm doing.
Yeah, Jamie, pull that up. Where has Tamatonga been? Because honestly, I have no idea. I don't even remember.
I know he's injured. I just don't remember when it happened.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back. Was he wasn't, or no, because Solo didn't have a match at WrestleMania. That's right. I don't know.
No, not. I hate Google sometimes.
Yeah. I think I said this last week. The Google on my computer, for some reason, just like doesn't work. Like every time I click on Google, it opens and then it closes and then it opens and then it closes and then it opens and then it stays there. And I'm like what the hell is going on here with this?
He got written off April 18th.
That was the day before WrestleMania.
Because that was when LA Knight attacked him.
Oh, okay. I still don't remember. I'm not even gonna lie. That was the SmackDown before WrestleMania, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
That was a long weekend. A lot of shit went down there, so
Yeah.
I apologize for everybody out there who's probably screaming, how can you host a podcast? You don't remember when Tama Tonga got injured on the SmackDown before WrestleMania. Like, sorry. No, I do not know when Tama Tonga got hurt. I do not recall him getting written off TV. That's that particular episode of SmackDown. I can barely even pay attention to SmackDown anymore. But moving to 2 hours this week, so that's good.
I will say, shout out to my buddy Coet if he's watching this, by the way. He was actually at the Raw in Pittsburgh this week. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and SmackDown got filmed because of July 4th.
Oh, that's right. So he has some spoilers.
Yeah, I told him not to give it to me because I kind of already got it spoiled thanks to Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Twitter is a thing. I haven't seen anything, so thankfully I'm going to try and not be spoiled for that. That's why, I was wondering all week why Raw was starting at 6 this week. That'll do it. That's why you can't have a 6-hour show. That'd be a lot for some people to sit through. So if the crowd is a little quiet on SmackDown this week, now we know why.
All I'm saying is that he told me that SmackDown was really good.
I can't imagine there's too much story implications though, because usually when they do tapings and stuff like that, there's not much big that happens. It's almost like a filler episode, like a true wrestling show. Like more people come out. Sure, we'll have promos and we'll have some good stuff, but most of it I feel like is just going to be matches, which is fine.
I mean, kind of, but I feel like this is also a little different, especially since next week we have both Saturday night's main event and Evolution 2.
Yeah, so something's got to happen, especially because we don't have a lot of time left to build those up. Where was I going to go next? I forget. We can go back to Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Do you think we're going to get a rematch immediately for these titles? Do you think we're going to get some on SmackDown, something on Saturday night's main event, or do you think this is the SummerSlam feud?
I feel like it will end at SummerSlam, but I feel like they will have a match, just so Jacob can get his rematch. It's probably gonna be on a SmackDown. I don't know what other PLEs are coming up besides Saturday night's main event and
Women's Evolution.
Yeah, that'd be exciting to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this is more SmackDown because wild to think that we're already in July. Yeah, I can't see this unless if WWE has another PLE they're waiting to announce.
I'm sure they do. There's going to be something. The SummerSlam pre-show next Saturday. Experience SummerSlam before SummerSlam. Because we definitely have enough built up for SummerSlam already at this point. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know necessarily if we'll get something before. I think they'll definitely still be feuding. But my original prediction was for Solo to win the title at SummerSlam. So I still think it's going to go that far out to SummerSlam because right now, looking at the scheme of kind of the feuds that are building up, this is one of them that I feel is one that still only has the momentum to make it there. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky isn't going to make it past Evolution. Unless Rhea wins and they do a rematch.
I mean, at least we're finally going to get a CEO title defense.
Yeah, thankfully. Holy shit. Her title reign has been so bad. We I think we've talked about it the past couple of weeks already at this point, but I'm so disappointed with the Io Sky title reign. She's such a transitional champion right now, and that's nothing against Io Sky. Io Sky is awesome. She's probably one of the top 3 performers in the WWE right now. Not even women's division, overall. I think Io Sky is fantastic. But why? Like she's in that like Rhea Ripley vortex. Like she's just stuck there, just like Liv Morgan was. And maybe it's got something to do with the women's main event on Monday Night Raw, because most of the big players, I'm thinking Becky Lynch, I'm thinking right now Lyra Valkyria, and I'm thinking Bayley. They're all tied up for the mid card title. So like, who's left in the main event? I don't even know. It's just Rhea Ripley. It was Liv Morgan. But other than those two, like who else is main event in the women's division right now? On Raw, not SmackDown.
Honestly, don't know at this point.
Like I think that's it. And that goes back to we need another draft or something. Like imagine if like we had Bianca Belair over there. Or maybe like I know Jade Cargill's busy at the moment, but if we got a Jade Cargill over there. Maybe Tiffany Stratton drops the title. They do the draft. Tiffany Stratton comes over. Like something new to shake it up, you know? Because they took Nia Jax in the last draft and put her on SmackDown. And she's been doing good over on SmackDown. She's had like 4 title matches in the past, 4 months. So I don't know if I want her back necessarily, just because she's doing fine over there. But the women's main event needs something.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because now the champion is suffering the consequences. Because now once Rhea Ripley, I don't want to say once Rhea Ripley wins, I have to give it another week to give a prediction on this match. But if Rhea Ripley wins, like then what? Liv Morgan's out for 6 months. Now she could have a match with Io Sky. I guess Asuka's there now. But I fear Asuka's going to go down the route of Kabuki Warriors reunion, try and restart the women's tag division. Then we'll have 3 women's tag teams. Kabuki Warriors, the Secret Harvest, and the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I feel like that whole women's tag team, like that Fatal 4-Way match, I feel like it's not even gonna be like qualifiers. I genuinely think they're just gonna have random pairings together. Like,
They probably are. Could you see, I saw this online somewhere, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss going after these titles? We can get another Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair situation.
Genuinely, yeah. Like, as much as I want, I don't want like a title change, because I did just say I do want Judgment Day with all the belts. I just want more screen time with these titles.
Yeah, like they need something other than being walked down to the ring by Raquel Rodriguez every week. Because like we talked about a little earlier, up until now, Raquel hasn't really felt like much of a threat or a champion at all. Definitely not a champion. Maybe now a threat, but definitely not a champion. They haven't defended their titles, which isn't their fault. There's no women's tag teams. But still, I would be completely fine with them getting these titles, and they said there's going to be an NXT tag team in here. I would be fine with them finally, so I've been saying it for months, going back down to NXT right now. Keep them there. Stick them there. Ship them off. I don't care for them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If Judgment Day, like, just don't retain, I wouldn't be mad. Definitely send the titles down to NXT, because there's a lot of NXT talent down there that could definitely elevate the titles. And I think I've said this before on the podcast. NXT has the best women's division by like a whole football field.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That just reminded me. We have Stephanie Vaquer now. Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. I'd like to see that at SummerSlam. Because we have that Battle Royal thing coming up. Which, also, here's my complaint about this Battle Royal coming up. Whoever wins gets a title shot at Clash in Paris. And not SummerSlam. Like, what is the thought process there?
I feel like they're definitely setting up something bigger for SummerSlam.
They have to be. And I don't know what that bigger thing could be, because like we just mentioned, it's only Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Like what bigger thing is there other than this feud advances a little bit further? Because even if you look back at Io Sky's title reign so far, you know who she's defended against? Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, and now Rhea Ripley. And if they go back to SummerSlam, say Io retains, it's going to be Rhea Ripley again. And if they're going to have Rhea Ripley win this title, I bet it's at SummerSlam. I'm not going to put the words "I bet" in front of anything WWE related anymore. We all know how that went a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't checked out that podcast, be sure to go see that one. That's a funny story. But, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to see something more elevated with these titles, but it's really been hard to just get behind the women's division.
Yeah. Women's division on SmackDown is popping, though. I'm all for that. It's not like I'm sitting here anti-WWE women's division just because the tag team division sucks and the main event on Raw sucks. Like we've said in the past couple of weeks, I love the IC title scene. Everything going on with Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Lyra Valkyria right now is great, even though the match last week made no sense at all, the way Lyra Valkyria interrupted. I think they kind of made up for it, though, this week. The double pin, setting us up for undoubtedly the triple threat match.
Yeah.
Which I also wanted to see at SummerSlam, but whatever.
I feel like it's hard now to even see where this is going because, I mean, you just mentioned Clash of Paris. They have to go all out for an international show. And then, because Paris, last time there was an event in Paris, blew the roof off the place.
Yeah.
Could they repeat the same success? It's going to be tough, but I mean,
I think they
like
totally
I said,
could.
But like I said in previous podcasts, it's like there's way too many PLEs to really like draw people into a lot of stories, even especially if you're trying to build long-term ones.
Yeah, like I don't see a world where AJ Styles isn't on the Clash in Paris card. And I think I predicted this way long ago at like one of the WrestleMania podcasts, but like can you imagine AJ Styles versus John Cena for the WWE Championship at Clash in Paris? That would be insane.
All for it.
But right now, you know, he's tied up with the IC title. And I feel like that match has to happen before SummerSlam because I think it's pretty easy to say it's going to be Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam for the IC title. So whenever AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio happens, Dom has to retain, and it definitely has to happen before SummerSlam. So AJ Styles is going to have nothing going on. It all depends on if John Cena loses or not at SummerSlam, which I honestly don't think he will. I see him retaining.
I'll be completely honest with Judgment Day. I feel like because of Liv Morgan's injury, I genuinely don't think we're going to see a split until she's back.
Yeah. I could see it. I just want the match so bad. I want Finn Balor to succeed again in the WWE, which I guess now he has the tag titles, so good for him. That definitely throws a little wrench into the IC title thing, now that I think about it.
Yeah, had Judgment Day not won the tag team titles on Monday, I still could have seen a split. Now that the tag team titles are on them, I find it really hard for it to happen.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, it almost has to wait till Liv Morgan at least comes back to TV. Maybe not wrestling, you know? Because it's like, look at how... I can already see it in Finn Balor's face every promo he's doing backstage and stuff. He's like, oh, look at us. Look at how good we are without Liv. Liv would be so proud of us, right, guys? Right? And now everybody's kind of teaming up against Liv Morgan almost. We saw the voting to have Roxanne be an official member of the Judgment Day, which wouldn't have happened if Liv Morgan was there, I feel. We have Roxanne taking Liv's titles now, taking her tag partner. So yeah, I think this has to wait till Liv comes back. It's all going to depend for me when she comes back to TV. Because if she comes back before SummerSlam, just to be backstage and come out with Dom, I could still see it happening. Because if Judgment Day is going to break up, I could see Finn Balor and JD going one way. And then, like, Dom and the others going a different route, you know?
Yeah, but now that they're all pretty much dripped in gold, I don't see any possible way of a split. Like, realistically, if a split were to happen, at least half of the group has to lose their titles. Like,
Yeah, especially tag titles.
yeah, like, Dom has to stay champion if we're gonna see a Judgment Day split.
Yeah,
That's the only way I could see this working out.
and the way it's kind of going right now, like I just said, I don't see him losing to AJ Styles just because Judgment Day shenanigans and AJ Styles is definitely going to be on the Clash at Paris card. There's absolutely no way they cannot have AJ Styles back after the iconic moment from Backlash last year. I would like to see it against John Cena as a champion, just because the pop would be unbelievable. Like, they got to build something up for him, and getting him through Dominic Mysterio, win or lose right now, as quickly as possible, I think is what's going to set us up for that. Maybe we get AJ Styles versus Dom at SummerSlam. Maybe that's the curve they're throwing at us here, because I feel like it was originally supposed to be at Night of Champions, and then last minute they were like, all right, well, we got some shit go down here now. We can't have that happen. So maybe we were on the right track, and now the Liv Morgan injury just fucked it all up. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Is there anything more on... Where did we even start with that? We started with Solo Sikoa, and we went down a Judgment Day rat hole. Is there anything more on Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Judgment Day? Anything else we just covered before we get to the main event of the night? We didn't even get to Jade and Asuka yet. Holy shit. Okay, never mind. Oh my god.
I mean, I do kind of have like a weird fantasy booking for Dom that could potentially set up him getting kicked out.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what if it is Dom and AJ at Clash in Paris? And we've seen it before with Dom. What if Finn and JD come in and get involved, but it absolutely backfires?
It's like they screw Dom over.
Yeah.
And then that's where I could see that, because then AJ's winning a title at Clash in Paris.
AJ wins the title, and then we get the Judgment Day split.
Yeah. Okay, that could happen. Because they regardless of what happens, they got to have a big match for AJ Styles. Like, there's no way they skip out on it. I could see that, though. I just want to see where they go with this storyline, because I just don't like the fact that they're delaying it like this. Like, what is Dom's injury? Have they even said, besides him being a punk ass?
I think I was reading reports. I think it's a rib injury.
Oh, so it is real. It's not just a TV thing. I thought it was just a TV thing. That's why.
Nah, it's an actual injury that he's dealing with, and I don't know how long it is. Maybe it's another week or two, if I had to guess.
Yeah, because the only reason I was all pissy about it is because I thought it was just like a Jade Cargill on the car, the hood of the car injury. I thought it was like a fake thing, but if it's real, okay. You could redact everything I've been talking about for the past like half an hour. Anyway, though, with that being said, is there anything more on any of the various topics we just covered here before we move on?
Let's move on to the Queen of the Ring.
All right, Queen of the Ring. We had Jade Cargill defeat Asuka in a match that I thought was pretty good. I don't know. Once again, like last week, we talked about this match. Not much story behind it, really. For me, it kind of just solidified my prediction from before Money in the Bank, in our Money in the Bank way too early predictions, where I had Naomi winning, cashing in on Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. I still think that's going to happen. I think we're on the road here to see that. I was happy with the decision to have Jade Cargill win. I don't think Asuka would have gotten much more out of this, especially because I see her going into the women's tag division right after this. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought this was a really good match. I was really disappointed with the crowd for this match, though.
Yeah, that's just the thing with like Saudi crowds. Like going back, I think I mentioned them against or with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Like they popped for that match. They popped for CM Punk versus John Cena at the end. But like the stuff in the middle wasn't really all that. Not the matches. I mean like the crowd for them, especially the women's matches. So that's unfortunate and just a symptom of Saudi crowds. Although they did love Rhea Ripley. So that was a little odd to me, but
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised that Jade was getting booed by the Saudi crowd.
yeah. Yeah, me too.
So I don't really know what was up with that, but like her getting the pin, like when she got the pin, like it didn't feel special.
No, it didn't feel like the finish to the match in a way. Like it felt
Yeah.
like maybe it was the crowd that did it, maybe it happened too quickly. The pin was a little weird. We kind of almost had a Randy Orton situation from last year there with Asuka again. And again, what have I been saying about Jade Cargill? Why am I not sold on Jade Cargill? Pins and kickouts. Leave it right there. But yeah, I've been saying that for weeks. But overall, I am happy Jade won. You think here comes another controversial comment of mine, culture-wise. But did you notice there was like not a single woman in the crowd besides Tiffany Stratton? And that's just I understand that's a culture thing, but just looking at it, like on TV, I was like wow, we live in two different worlds, you know?
Yeah, I'm genuinely like not surprised. What I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure I am right. You know what? Let me fact check this first before I say this.
Okay, yeah, here we go. We like our controversies accurate. Not accurate. Jesus Christ. That's going to get me canceled.
Nice.
Redact that, editor who is me. I won't edit it out. I probably won't. But I'm just going to stop because I'm going to get us in trouble here. But yeah, I don't know. I understand it's just like a culture thing over there, but it just made me sit back and be like, wow, like that is a different place than where we are. And I'm going to leave it at that before I get myself canceled and potentially fired from my job. So.
Okay, yeah, so I am right with what I'm about to say. Saudi Arabia has always been known for like they've always had segregation, and that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Like I kind of like saw it coming in. It was just like actually seeing it on TV. I thought was just a culture shock moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that, overall, yeah, I am happy that Jade Cargill is our Queen of the Ring. My original prediction from last month or 2 months ago, whenever Money in the Bank was at this point, that podcast came out in May, so that was 2 months ago. No. Yes. Okay. The end of May. Month and a half. Whatever. That prediction is coming to life for me, and you can have El Grande Americano, and you can have Solo Sikoa. I got this one to lean on. Everything else I ever say, except for like the gimmies of like Cody Rhodes beating Randy Orton, is wrong. So I'm leaning so heavily on this one to come true. I'm rooting for Jade Cargill. Jade, if you are watching, I know you are not. I was rooting for you. So I was rooting for you to eventually get the title stolen from you at SummerSlam. Unfortunately, but I was rooting for you. So.
Yeah, watch our WWE exec just completely ruin your entire prediction.
Yeah, if a WWE exec sees this, I'm going to lose my job because of all the controversial shit I've been saying the past 3 episodes. I got to stop with that. It's the mustache. I'm going to stop now. Is there anything more on Jade Cargill versus Asuka before we move on to our main event here?
Let's move on.
Okay. We had John Cena. We had CM Punk. Lots of shenanigans going down in this match. I'm assuming this will be CM Punk's last time facing John Cena. What did you think about this match overall? And of course, I guess you could call it a failed cash in from Seth Rollins.
I thought this was a really good match. It was easily Cena's best match that he's had during his heel run. Um, I will say, with all the shenanigans that happened, a lot of people who came out didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. The match itself between CM Punk and John Cena, obviously we know they have legendary chemistry. This was a great match without any of that stuff. I was okay with the Seth Rollins failed cash in because I felt like I knew he wasn't actually going to cash in here for some reason. And for as much as I don't want to believe we're going to get 2 cash-ins at SummerSlam, I think we will. But I don't know. That's kind of going against what I said earlier about John Cena and AJ Styles, now that I think about it. I don't know. We'll see down the line. Because for as much as I think if we're going to get a cash-in at SummerSlam, it's going to be Naomi. Even though I said a while back it was going to be Seth Rollins. And I don't want to believe we're going to get 2 things, but like I just said, we might. There's a good chance of it. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, failed cash in. So, yeah, like he said on Raw, he was kind of just there to screw over CM Punk, which, fair enough. We're going to get, I feel like one last time, we're going to get CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. For this year, anyway. We're definitely going to see that again, especially once Seth is champion. What? Mm-hmm. I know.
Diploma.
I know. My diploma came in the mail. Anyway.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get Seth Rollins versus CM Punk one last time here from this, and probably again in the future. I think this match needs a stipulation. Maybe a Hell in a Cell once again for CM Punk. But yeah, like you said, some of the people who came out to save CM Punk, Penta, why? I don't get it. Like, I understand he was a little bit involved with Seth Rollins, but LA Knight, man, like, how could they mess that up? Sami Zayn just, like, okay, he won in Saudi Arabia, but like, he just had a match. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the people who came out. I think it just would have been better if it was just LA Knight.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. When Penta came out, I was very confused.
Yeah.
Like, I get his history with that faction, but it's like, you don't really have much, like, built so far for you to come out.
Yeah, like, he lost
like.
he lost the week prior to Braun Breaker. I thought that was just the end of it. You know? He came out, lost to Braun Breaker on Raw, injured Chad Gable, and I thought that was the end of it. We talked about a Penta heel turn last week, so to see Penta here for me was a little bit random.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's like main event ready in the sense that, like, Jey Uso is main event ready. We could have saw Jey Uso here. That would have made more sense. Jey Uso and LA Knight instead of Sami Zayn and Penta. I don't know. I love Penta. I think everything he's done in the WWE so far has been great. But he's not Seth Rollins, John Cena, CM Punk level, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Overall, I feel like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the run-ins from Sammy and Penta really did much for this.
No, and it didn't do much for them either. All it did was set up their tag team match, which they once again lost on Monday Night Raw the same week. So
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. It would have done more for guys who weren't on the card. Like, okay, I guess Penta wasn't on the card, but LA Knight, Jey Uso, again, where were they? Arguably, I'd say slightly bigger baby faces than both of those two. LA Knight gets the biggest pops on SmackDown right now when Cody Rhodes and John Cena are busy. Sami Zayn, okay, yeah, he's up there. He's like Jey Uso level, but he had a match already. And maybe that's just catering to the Saudi crowd that loves Sami Zayn, but I bet they would have yeeted their asses off if Jey Uso came out.
Oh, definitely. But at the same time, I think I said it. I think we both said this last week or the week before. Jey Uso, Jesus, he should be off TV a lot longer than we were expecting.
Yeah, he was back last week, and he came out to save Sami Zayn and Penta. So yeah, I don't know. I was on that Jey Uso hype train after the Royal Rumble when he won at WrestleMania. I was all for Jey Uso. I was all for him having that short title run. But like I said, now I want to see him kind of calm down with it. You know, I am off the Jey Uso hype train. My stop was Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. That's where it ended for me. And if I'm in a live crowd, sure, I'm going to yeet for Jey Uso. But not at home anymore.
Yeah, I was never on that train to begin with. So.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, that ride was all for you, buddy.
And that's okay. I got off the train. The train is over. It's okay to get on trains and hop onto different trains. I do that all the time. And Jey Uso, yeah, it's done for me. I don't care for it anymore. If you went after the IC title, I'd be a fan of that. But
Yeah.
I'm no longer for the main event, Jey Uso over push.
Yeah, I remember when people were saying like, "Oh, Jey Uso's gonna have like a generational push like Jeff Hardy did in
Yeah.
08." But it's like, here's the thing though, Jey Uso's like solos like run, I guess you could say, is not better than Jeff Hardy's by the
Definitely
slightest.
not. No, definitely not. Jeff Hardy was one of the 3 most popular people back in 2008. Jey Uso, maybe during the peak of it, reached similar heights, but like if you look at the longevity of it, Jey Uso is dwindling. Like Jeff Hardy didn't dwindle. You know, everybody loved Jeff Hardy for the entirety of that push. But Jey Uso's still getting pushed, and people weren't on the train to begin with. So
Yeah. And another reasoning, and I feel like this honestly kind of legitimizes my point on why I was never in for Jey Uso solo run. And let's bring up Jeff Hardy. The reason why Jeff Hardy had a good singles run, and even Matt Hardy, they split up really early in their careers.
yeah,
So it was beneficial for them to be solos at that point, because I think it was, I can't remember when they split, because they had split when Jeff left, and that honestly was like a win for both of them, because both Matt and Jeff were able to have like really good like solo runs because of the fact that Jay was part of a tag team for almost like 12 years.
yeah, like 12.
That really was, I got way too used to Jey Uso being a tag team guy, and in my eyes he is still a tag team guy.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to like the levels of performers they were too. Like Jeff and Matt Hardy. I think I mentioned this at the WrestleMania podcast, but I watched their WrestleMania ladder match from was it 25? WrestleMania 25.
Mm-hmm.
That match was a fucking banger. And then you go back and you watch Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso, and it wasn't great, to say the
Super
least.
kick galore.
The super kick fest, the weird drama that was in it, where Jimmy was like begging for forgiveness, and then nobody was a fan of it. They know they fucked that up. I would like to see Jimmy and Jay go at it one more time at WrestleMania, but maybe like have it this time be they're both baby faces, and it's just like, we're gonna run it back because we know it was ass last time, and we want to put on a great show. Just like a little sibling rivalry thing. Maybe put an Intercontinental title on the line. That could be interesting. Or a U.S. title. I think Jimmy Uso is next in line for the U.S. title, with Solo being there now.
I'd say so, because now, like, it looks like Jimmy's starting to mix things up with that.
Yeah, with Jacob Fatu, too. We saw them have a little bit of a team up. I don't know if he'll win it, but I think he'll be Solo's next match. And then we'll get Jacob Fatu again at SummerSlam, going back to what I was saying earlier. But, yeah. So, is there anything else on John Cena, CM Punk, the Seth Rollins cash-in attempt, or the weird interferences we got in this match before we start to wrap it up? Because I have nothing else for us here today.
Can I just say, John Cena's a dick for what he did to Charles Robinson?
Yeah. Oh my God, he obliterated him. I completely forgot about that. That was funny. He came out of nowhere, just.
Like, does anyone have like a report on how Charles is doing?
Yeah,
Like...
he went flying. How about with
Like,
John Cena attitude adjusted Bronson Reed too? That was insane.
I mean, John Cena's been doing it for ages. He's done it to guys like Big Show. So.
I know, but back then he was like 30. Now he's like 50. So to see that from him, that was crazy. Did you see Paul Heyman's face when that happened? He was in shock.
Yeah.
Me too, though.
I will say, I love the new briefcase that Seth has.
Oh my God, yeah, that looked awesome. Do you think, I saw this on Twitter, do you think he'll come out with a different color briefcase every week to like match his outfit? I mean, he's been wearing black a lot lately, so maybe they'll just keep it black. But I think that'd be cool.
Honestly, that'd probably be hilarious.
The money that TKO would make on it.
That, but it's like, how much money and like extra briefcases do the company have in order for that to happen?
Yeah, that's true. I really like the black and gold though. I think it looks sick, especially with his little like logo on it.
Yeah, I will say Seth definitely. In terms of like custom briefcases, his is up there.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's right next to Tiffany Stratton's, the pink one. I loved the pink briefcase. If you can't tell, my pink sweatshirt, I do like the color pink. The light on I have a light up mouse pad here. That's pink. It's not this color. It's like a purplish pink. The light on my keyboard, because I have an RGB keyboard, is pink. I have a little pink bonsai tree here, and the lights in my room are typically, and it all goes with my like wallpaper here on my computer. It's like a purpley blue and pink. It's like a neon like Tokyo thing. I don't know. You'd have to see it to understand it, but I like the color pink.
Honestly, I think the reason why I like Seth's briefcase so much is that when Money in the Bank was like first introduced, the briefcase was always black.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like the black briefcase was like so much better than the green ones, or even when they did the brand split with the blue and red. Like, I always preferred the black briefcase, and especially like when the match used to be at WrestleMania with the WrestleMania logo on it, that was like the icing on the cake for me.
Yeah. We don't have the Cash App logo on it anymore.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the black briefcase. I think it looks menacing. It's like it feels more like, less like opportunity and more like impending doom.
Yeah, funny how I said that, like, I really enjoyed the black briefcase, but my favorite briefcase of all time is literally RVD's.
Yeah. What? Wait, his was like was it the tie dye one or I'm trying to think. What?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like blue, green, orange, like
yeah.
all of the damn colors on it.
It's nice to stand out once in a while like that. Like something like this definitely stands out because we haven't had that black briefcase in a while. It matches
Damien
really well.
Sandow's briefcase.
Yeah, Damian Priest, the purple. His was cool too.
Senior Money in the Bank.
Senior Money in the Bank. Yeah, I liked his too.
I'm I'm trying to figure out who else had like recent like custom ones. Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, the boombox one.
That one. Okay, I gotta give Brock that one. That was kind of sick.
That was funny. Brock Lesnar,
Yeah,
Mr.
but no.
Money in the Bank. So unnecessary.
I still wish John Cena did that this year.
Yeah, I know.
I was all for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, my stack of money is no longer there anymore. So it is. I almost said it was in my bank account. It's not. It's in my wallet now. So I do technically still have it, but it's not in this room anymore. So I can't. I can't money gun it for carrying cross T-shirts or stupid bets anymore. But with that being said, is there anything more on John Cena, CM Punk, or anything else here before we start to wrap up the show? I think we kind of indirectly covered all the other topics I wanted to talk about with the tag team champions, El Grande Americano, stuff like that. So
I will say there is something being planned for Seth Rollins' group. Plan B.
Plan B. Oh yeah, that's right. What do you think Plan B could even be? I don't think it's like a. I don't think it's like a Triple H. There's always a Plan B. Like somebody's gonna turn on somebody within the group anyway. Like I don't think like a Bronson Reed or a Braun Breaker's gonna turn on Seth. But that did cross my mind. What do you think is going on there?
I feel like Plan B has to be a new member.
Yeah, it could be. See, I don't think that this group needs a new member at this point. Like, I don't think they absolutely need it just because they're so dominant already. But at the same time, what else could Plan B be? You know, we know historically the context of Plan B within WWE is that get somebody to turn and come over to the new group. But I don't know. Because a lot of people are still throwing Ethan Page's name out there. But,
I don't really see Ethan being in the group for the time being, and it's really just because of the fact that he's still North American champion.
yeah.
But, like, other than that, hey, I mean, my original prediction of a fourth member, or just a new member in general, is still up there. That
Ilya
still could
Dragunov?
happen.
Ilya? I could see it. I could see it because we haven't seen him in a long time. I heard he's still on the injured reserve thing though. So if Plan B is going to come into play soon, all depends on what further advancements we get with Plan B. Because what like groups are there right now? Like what? Like I'm trying to think. Like John Cena obviously doesn't have a posse with him.
I mean, to be fair, we could look at my ridiculous take last week, and it could be LA Knight.
It could be. I've seen that online too. My only problem with that is the match that Seth Rollins and LA Knight are about to have. I mean, sure, Bronson Reed feuded with Seth Rollins before joining the group. Almost like months later, though.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. It's hard to predict right now when all we have is Plan B.
Yeah, I honestly, Plan B is definitely gonna turn a lot of heads.
Yeah.
If it is a new member, or what if we do get like someone get kicked out the group? Like, what if that's the curveball? Like,
That would be crazy because I feel like it's way too early for that. Like if this was a Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker Plan B, I could see Braun Breaker turning on Seth after he wins the title to go after it himself. or like go on to win the Royal Rumble or something like that. Like that would be cool. But I feel like this faction needs so long to cook. I want to see them do this for another year, maybe even. Like go deep into a Seth Rollins title run with this.
I was gonna say, I love how we like said when this group had originally like started, we're like, we want this to be like a 5-year thing.
Yeah.
And it might get shut down within like the first
Yeah.
year.
That would actually be so unfortunate because they're cooking with this. I'm such a big fan of this Seth Rollins faction. I think for the most part everybody is.
Oh yeah, I mean, besides like John Cena's like world title, I mean, this group and Judgment Day at least, best thing going on Raw right now.
Yeah, I agree. Judgment Day's been getting up there on the list, especially now that they all have that gold.
And women's IC title.
And yeah. Women's IC title is my favorite title in the WWE right now. Storyline wise, just everything that's going on with it. It just feels so pure, you know? Like it's not like this big, I don't want to say it's not a big intricate story, but it's just like a personal like hate feud. Like it's like I hate you, you hate me. Let's fuck each other.
It just
up
works
for
well.
A cool title. Yeah, it does. It really does. Especially after everything that went down at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But with that being said, anything more on any of the shit we talked about or anything we didn't cover? I'm trying to think.
Gunther Goldberg.
Gunther Goldberg. I'm trying to think, what real advancements did we have this week? Because I feel like it's very obvious Gunther's going to win this match. Honestly, I don't know if it is obvious. They've been Michael Cole has been hyping up Goldberg. He's like, what is Goldberg gonna do if he wins the World Heavyweight Championship? Is he gonna retire, or are we gonna get another Goldberg title reign of Goldberg burying talent in the WWE again? I don't want to see Goldberg win. I really don't.
Well, my thing is like, yeah, Gunther dropped the promo, but then Seth also came out. And basically Seth said that like Gunther wasn't safe either. So realistically, we could see Seth go after the world title too, because like he said, he has like all the cards to play with the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I just don't think he will. I think this story's too big. I feel like this faction is too big to not go after undeniably the biggest title in the company, you know, with the biggest name holding it. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't want to see Gunther drop it to a Money in the Bank cash in. Even though I said that last year. I was like yeah, Gunther's got to drop it. There's no way anybody beats Gunther, and then we have Jey Uso. But I want to see Gunther go after some new people, or some new people go after Gunther before he drops this title. Obviously, we have Goldberg, but if they decide to run it back with Jey Uso, I would be fine with one more match against Sami Zayn. I would like to see Penta go after the world title. I would like to see LA Knight come over to Raw and go after the world title. Maybe then Seth's faction goes over to SmackDown once he catches in on John Cena. I would like to see, like, who else? Maybe Sheamus versus Gunther again when Drew McIntyre comes back. Like, I feel like there's a lot more on the table in terms of flexibility with Gunther and the world title than there is right now with everything going on with the WWE Championship. So, yeah, Seth kind of threatened Gunther, but I feel like that was just like a bluff kind of thing. Like Cody Rhodes before WrestleMania 40. Seth, I could go after you because I won the Royal Rumble. It's like, you're not going to do that. That's what I got out of this anyway.
Yeah, I mean, after the fact, it just went to shenanigans again. We got CM Punk and LA Knight.
Yeah, so I think we're going to get a match, CM Punk and LA Knight too, after Seth Rollins at some point. Before CM Punk gets to, before he gets back at Rollins.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Although, there's no PLE yet between Saturday night's main event and, maybe, what if it's like a triple threat? SummerSlam triple threat, LA Knight, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. That'd be cool. Like if CM Punk gets involved at Saturday night. I fucked it up again. Saturday night's main event every week.
I could see it like be like the main event for night one.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be fun. Because CM Punk doesn't wrestle on Raws and SmackDowns. I mean, he does, but not that often. Not as often as LA Knight does. So I can't see it taking place anywhere but the next PLE, which just so happens to be SummerSlam. So, which is crazy to think about. SummerSlam's already here.
We are in July.
Yeah. And Crown Jewel, because Crown Jewel is usually over the summer, but that's November this year, which means we might get SmackDown or a Raw sometime in December.
You gotta remember Crown Jewel's in Australia this year.
Oh, that's right. Shit. I didn't think about that. I don't think that makes any sense though. Because those Crown Jewel...
I mean, we'll get it after Royal Rumble, maybe.
Maybe, but the Crown Jewel titles are like... They sit in that exhibit, or whatever the hell, in Saudi Arabia. So how are they not doing Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia? I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Could you imagine if it's location-based and Australia has their own titles?
Hopefully they look a little different this year, because those belts were ugly. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They were disgusting. They were worse than the greatest Royal Rumble title.
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman and the greatest Royal Rumble champion. The greatest Royal Rumble that nobody ever talked about or mentioned again.
The only thing that came out of that was Titus World Slide.
Yeah. That's where he goes under the ring, right? That's funny.
What else is there to cover? Is that it?
I'm not sure. That's all I've got for this week. Got anything else, or are we ready to wrap it up here?
I think we're good to wrap it up. Nothing's really jumping at me, so.
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you all for listening, watching, subscribing, however else you are consuming this podcast. We really do appreciate it. Be sure to follow all of our socials in the, well, they will be in the link in the description, but they're also in the graphic below right here. You can follow me on Instagram, J_Yanoski2103, or Jetly, plug your socials.
Jetly_T on Instagram.
And be sure to follow the TikTok page as well. It's the same Squash Match Wrestling with the underscores and shit. Over on TikTok, I will probably have some TikToks uploaded this week. It's been like a month or something before that. But I've been busy with work, okay? I've had some stuff going on. But anyway, we'll be back next week with some Saturday night's main event and some Women's Evolution predictions. So until then, we'll see you next time.